Hi everybody, it's Zara Oblak Spiker, and today is day 3 for live transmissions, inspiration, and strategic teachings to help you master time, mindset, and pretty much realign everything around you inside and out to reflect this fire in your heart and knowing of your soul and the magic of your energy. I know it sounds really poetic, so we're gonna go right into the pragmatics. The first video that I shared with you was about reimagining, what I shared with you for specific questions to be with, and then I challenged you on rethinking your boundaries. Yesterday we were talking about redefining and recreating anything from the ideas to definitions to frameworks to strategic pieces and new routines in your life to support you. Today we're going to talk about you. If you have been in my circles for any period of time, you have heard me say this in many different ways, many different times, and I'm going to say it again. No matter what is it that we're creating, no matter the strategic pieces, no matter the tactical plans, it comes down to shifting and growing and evolving and stepping into the next version of ourselves. It starts within. So the question for today would be, who is that you are becoming? What version of you do you need to step into and bring forth in order to accomplish and achieve and create and step into this new reality that you are reimagining, to pull it from the future and bring it right into the present? There's so many different layers to this conversation, and I'm going to try to keep it really simple. Like I said, so many different varieties and versions, and all the tips and to-dos have already been shared. Go to my website, go to my YouTube channel. There's over 180 videos there available to you. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's not even about the information. It's not even about giving you more steps or frameworks to follow or pieces of information for you to absorb. Right now, the question is, what do you do with what you already have? What do you do with what you already know? What do you do when you realize that, what I have been doing and what I do know, it's time to unlearn and undo and release. So I would invite you to simply allow yourself to play with all the pieces of information and rearrange them in a little bit of a different puzzle as you're solving that mystery. And now in the space and in the journey of becoming, another thing that I've heard from many clients of mine, and I have been there myself, where is this final destination? When will I know that I have arrived? How will I know that I'm on the right path? So let's talk about that for a moment. When we create this vision in our mind, when we declare what our desires are and dare to ask for them and give them to ourselves, right? We also feel within us what are the emotions that are evoked? How does that make us feel? Is it warm and fuzzy? Is it exciting? Is it joy and happiness? Is this anticipation like a Christmas morning? Those are the sensations that we as humans can always cultivate at will. Now, I'm not suggesting you brush aside and sweep underneath the rug anything that doesn't match. That would be bypassing and it's going to backfire. But what I do invite you is to, as you're keeping this end goal in mind, have those feelings kind of as benchmarks. Are you feeling them? Are you creating a space for yourself to feel this way? If it's for a minute or an hour or a day at a time. Of course, as human beings, you're not gonna feel jolly all day long every single day. But with practice, what you're gonna create is your ability and your own system to have the awareness when something's coming up, Have the awareness when you're standing on this proverbial escalator and you can see that things are progressing, and you know from your experience that once you reach the top, it's gonna explode and shit's gonna hit the fan, and you're not gonna go there because you recognize the triggers, you recognize the warning signs, and you're able to really process and be with all that is coming up in a loving and not judgmental way. And then you simply do the work required to alchemize those energies into the energies that are actually going to support you along the way. And again, having a choice to, you know what, my future self, this is how she feels when all these goals are accomplished, when everything is said and done. And I'm going to step into this right now because I cleared the path, not because I suppressed something. And when we're talking about this inner game and knowing how to get there, this is the second piece. Be clear about what are going to be the signs. And again, when you tap into your vision, look around this vision and see what are some of the signs, what else is going on there that lets you know that, hey, it's done. And then be mindful of those instances and those experiences on your day-to-day journey, because so often we are focused on all the things that are not, and all the things that are still elusive and right around the corner, out of our reach, that we forget to acknowledge everything that has already happened, everything that has already been materialized, everything that has always been gifted to us, everything that has always realigned and rearranged to fully support us. So yeah, this is where this space and stillness play the role, to be able to literally be in both places at the same time, having a meeting with your future self and being fully present right now, and notice and recognize all the stepping stones that are lining up for you. That said, here's a kicker. That said, right? As we know, we can't control how things are gonna go. We can't control what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. Wouldn't life be so much easier if we could? So just as much as we are setting the intention and doing on a pragmatic level everything that we can, and all the spiritual and mindset practices that we are devoted to in order to clear the path, there's also the side where we simply release and create the space and increase our capacities to receive the most unexpected gifts that are going to be presented. And sometimes, it might seem like, wow, this thing is taking forever to materialize, but oh, I did not notice, I already have it. But it's because it was in a different form, because it arrived through different channels, I have the awareness and I actually caught it. And now I can really have this deeper level of gratitude. Speaking of gratitude definitely is, it was such a sticky point for me for so many years. When I just started with the mindfulness and mindset practices, every other coach would say, oh, just, start making a list of all the things you're grateful for. And at first I just brushed it aside. And then I was like, well, okay, I'm going to go through the motions. The trick is not going through the motions. It's in feeling everything and then actually embodying and just vibrating at this frequency. But with the gratitude, what this actually creates, again, in the world of metaphysics, when you're yearning for something, when you want it, and when you see it as if it's still lacking, that's what you're going to attract more of. But when you can tap into this gratitude, if it's already here, because honestly, if it's in your vision, it's already in your vortex, it's already there, then you create a space where you can magnetize it. And again, this is super simplified, what I'm explaining here. Last but not least, when we're talking about becoming this new version of yourself, as much as this is going to be your inner game, now your responsibility is also going to be to adjust your environment, all the external parts to support you. And that again can be a very sticky point for many of the clients that I have been working with, or even some of my friends, when they invested so much of their time and energy and focus and resources in mastering themselves, and yet they stayed in the same environment. Ultimately, what they have been doing is they have been putting all this energy just to stay afloat as opposed to blasting off. So your environment does play a role, whether it's again relationships with certain people, whether it's physical environment as your home, as a town or a country or the whole continent, right? Whether it's a different job, maybe it's different clients, maybe it's something as simple as just moving your bed to a different wall in your bedroom. But feel into what is that really support you. And as yesterday when we were talking about finding a different and new rhythm, that counts as well. So if you go back and listen to yesterday's training and this one, you will be in a pretty good shape, and you're gonna have pretty much all the pieces that you need to start playing with them and reassembling them in a way that does support you. So I'm gonna wrap up today's transmission with that thought. If you have questions, please do let me know. We're here to support you. I also invite you to check the comment section for some really exciting announcements and introductions and launches that we are bringing into the world. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time and space, and I'll talk to you later. Sending you love.